the boundary of the United States is up to the Pacific. In other words, these islands do not belong to the United States. These islands are Mexican territories. These islands belong to the Mexicans.
Because one of the missions of our organization is to promote peace in our community, and that we want rights for our community, and we also want housing for our community, and this is why we're looking at the land issue and the need for land for our community. And Catalina Island is 80 square miles, which we can use.
It was a way to tell the next generation our story, tell the next generation our history, and it's so important in order to have our youth, in order for them to have a good, strong foundation. It's good for them to know the history.
It's Opochtli out here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, or Jamie will go attack you.
You know what? I've been documenting the movement since 2009, following Shirley the Dreamers. I got a lot of video, a lot of interviews. I interviewed John Hoka, I do a lot of things. And I'm hoping one day.
Come on, guys, move it. Tell them to make some more space for you in the back.
Well, I think several reasons. I think it's kind of to relook, and reannounce, the reorganization of the Brown Berets, but also to give a lot of our new Brown Berets the opportunity to go out and do some traveling and to see other places and get away from the Vadio, because one of the missions of our organization is to promote peace in our community. So there are several purposes. The other reason is to act as a symbol of the Chicano movement, that we're still around and that we want rights for our community, and we also want housing for our community, and this is why we're looking at the land issue and the need for land for our community. And Catalina Island is 80 square miles, which we can use.
We're still lined up. Again, you behind the handrail. We won't begin the board after all the boarding passengers have disembarked. Thank you.
Where's my son? Get in line.
Welcome to Catalina Island.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you
Welcome.
very much.
The island is
Thank
yours.
You.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys.
The island is ours. Yes, I like those words.
Yep.
Where'd you put my jacket? Oh,
¿Cuánto tiempo tiene trabajando aquí?
Aquí tengo ya. Aquí en la isla tengo 25 años viviendo.
Oh, sí.
Sí.
¿Cuánto tiempo tenemos hasta que lleguemos
¿Hasta que lleguen a dónde?
a donde nos va a dejar?
No, ahorita ya un minuto, aquí lo
Oh, está bien rápido, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Tiene familia en México?
Sí.
¿A dónde? ¿En qué parte? ¿No
En
quieres
Jalisco.
mandar saludos?
En Jalisco. Sí,
¿Cómo-
un
cómo se
saludo
llama?
para el Mezquite Grande, Jalisco. Acá desde la isla Catalina.
¿Cuántos años tiene viviendo acá?
Aquí en la isla llevo 27 años.
¿Y en otras partes ha vivido o nomás aquí en la isla?
Casi todo el tiempo aquí en la isla.
¿Y le ha gustado?
Está bonito, muy bonito.
¿Visita Los Ángeles mucho?
Voy una vez cada mes o cada 2 meses.
¿Y para qué va?
A veces de compras o otras veces nada más para salir de la isla por un día o 2.
Ya. ¿Y algo que le gustaría decir a la gente en México? ¿Unos consejos, algo?
Pues que le echen ganas a trabajar y que sigan adelante todo el tiempo haciendo cosas buenas. Del trabajo también se puede salir adelante. No nos vamos a hacer ricos, pero pues se vive muy a gusto cuando trabaja honradamente. Saludos a toda mi raza por allá en México, échenle ganas.
Muchas gracias.
movido.
Bro, show us some moves. Yeah.
Ready? Wait, your arms out on this side. Oh, yeah.
And then you're a Jaguar warrior?
Feels like it.
Hold on.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. David Sanchez, founder of the Brown Berets. We are here at the Catalina Island Museum to see an exhibit about the Brown Berets when the Brown Berets occupied the island back in 1972. And we're here kind of to tour the island, to look at all of the aspects of the island in relationship to how we were bringing forward the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which gave rights to Mexican Americans. Also, these islands here are also not part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which means these islands belong to the Chicanos. Once again, we have an exhibit here on the Brown Berets. You can come here and see our exhibit here at the Catalina Island Museum. You can see pictures, you can see the flag that we flew on Catalina Island, you can see a number of artifacts and also video that we made back in 1972. So come and see the Brown Beret exhibit here at the Catalina Island Museum.
Could you explain the treaty that you're following that brought you to this island?
Well, the treaty is the treaty between the United States and Mexico, a treaty of peace. of which goes back to Article 5. And Article 5 states the boundaries of the United States between the United States and Mexico, of which state that the boundaries are all the way down to Texas, from Texas to Colorado, from Colorado to northern tip of California, all the way down 3 leagues south of San Diego and up to the Pacific Ocean. That means up to San Pedro over there. And the boundary of the United States is up to the Pacific. In other words, these islands do not belong to the United States. These islands are Mexican territories. These islands belong to the Mexicans.
Let me make a few comments. I would like to say that I am honored, and the Brown Beret National Party is honored to cover our history at a well-known museum here on Catalina Island. When I first saw the uniform, my old uniform, this is the uniform that I wore when we took part of Catalina Island over. This uniform, I thought right now, I remember going to seeing George Washington's uniform at the LA Colony Museum, and then now they got my uniform here at the Catalina Island Museum. And so it represents a time. Also the flag, this is the flag that we flew while we were on Catalina Island. We held that flag up for 27 days. Our argument was we wanted to let people know about the problems facing the Mexican-American community. We wanted the nation to know about genocide against the Mexican-American community. And we also wanted to bring attention to the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. So this is why we occupied Catalina Island. One of the other things that we wanted to do was to build a university on Catalina Island, and maybe that might be a future prospectus. But anyway, that's my original brown beret, and that's my original bush jacket that I wore for those 27 days when I was here on Catalina Island.
Obviously, you know, then the sheriffs come. Wait for it. Peaceful ending. Everybody's happy. But then the flag. So it's black and white.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes to color.
Oh yeah.
To show that it's still ongoing issues, and that we still need to fight for the equal rights. And
nice.
So
nice. I like it.
And they're
yeah, really good. Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you want to say a few words to her?
Oh no.
Okay,
no.
all right.
Like I say, it'll be the future, you know. It's an ongoing thing. Transition.
The Brown Berets have basically helped formulate, you know, the Chicano movement all these years, and they've helped our people get a lot of opportunities that were not available to us before. And that's something that a lot of people in nuestra comunidad todavía no sabe, you know. So that's something that I need to take back to them, and will be taking back to them. And hopefully through the networking and through the outreach that we'll be making, we'll be able to get out to a lot of the new young people so that we can, you know, continue building our future leaders for tomorrow.
What was your motivation to occupy Catalina Island?
Well, there was several reasons. One of the reasons was, you know, being a nonviolent organization, we were looking for ways, peaceful ways, to get our word across, you know, and to also bring attention to the problems of the Mexican-American community. And so this was our way of occupying some land, and it made international news, and we were able to explain what the Brown Berets were about. You know, the Brown Berets has been a civil rights organization. And we felt also that in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, it didn't really mention the islands, so we said that, well, if the islands are not included, part of the United States, we said, well, maybe we ought to look at the islands and as a way to address our grievances. But also, it was a way to tell the next generation our story. tell the next generation our history. And it's so important in order to have our youth, in order for them to have a good, strong foundation, it's good for them to know the history.
I'm proud of what I am, and I'm proud, that, what I'm learning. I'm proud of, the Brown Berets because, it's like, you have actually, that you have people there that actually care about, where you're from, what they are, and I feel that Chicanos, that we are very, people, really, people of intelligence. Because some people, they came from Mexico, and then they have their kids in the States, and the kids are like, they don't know where they came from, they don't know what they are, they don't know, anything about their background and their ancestry. Where we came from, why, we did the things that we did, and why, we made, we had like the marches and everything.
Now here, I'm talking right here about the island and some of the boundaries of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. And of course, we're holding the flag, the Mexican-American flag, the Mexican flag, which is the flag of the people. Also, over here, they have my old uniform, and the uniform we wore this. All we really wore was mostly just a bush jacket, and we could just take that off and put it back on, and also the beret. That was actually the actual uniform in the beginning, and the uniform was a symbol of unity. When people would see the uniform, it would address our grievances, and would also address the idea of unity and also the idea of discipline. And that's why we had the uniform, because we wanted to promote discipline in our community. Also the flag, this is the flag that we actually flew over Catalina Island when we were here. Now this flag is made of silk, but it's also was painted. The eagle and the cactus and the eagle holding the snake was actually painted. It's painted with actual paint. And then in the background, you can see the picture here. You can see the Brown Berets lining up, showing their discipline, lining up on Catalina Island. And pretty much, we were here for land. We were thinking about land, so that people could have some land in the future maybe, or also the idea of maybe building a future university. So much of this was really education, educating our community, educating the overall community, international community, about our grievances, but also about our needs and our concerns. And the Brown Beret was a ploy to bring attention to our community. And that's why we came.
Thank you for telling me.
Parade, rest. Attention!
This is the hill where we camped out at, called it Campo Tecolote. And this was our base. This is where we did most of our activities. Nowadays, the people in Avalon, in the city below, they call this place Burrito Point. And the reason why they call this place Burrito Point is because the women and the girls would bring us burritos up to this mountain to help feed the Brown Berets. And so that's why they call that Burrito Point. Nonetheless, this is where we camped out. Every morning we would line up for inspection along this hill right here, and we'd fold our flags, held up our flags high. Also our large flag, which is now at the museum, we would post our big flag on the side of the hill. And also, we were able to protect the land pretty much. We always had 24-hour security. Somebody was always on security up on the hill, making sure to protect our camp. The only thing that happened one time was the wild boars came into our camp, and because of our security guard, who was on sentry that night, he fell asleep. And so he didn't chase the boars away, but the wild boars were all over the place. That's just one of the things that happened. Also, a lot of the some of the gringos down the hill, they were angry with us. They wanted us to move out of the island. And so what they did was they were able to get the police or the courts to change the law. They changed the ordinance. This area, or each household could only hold 5 people. And so they changed the ordinance, and one day, all of a sudden, we look up the hill, and there's like 40 sheriffs coming down with guns, and a judge carrying a court order ordering us to leave this particular area, or else we'd be condemned to jail. So to avoid that, we were able to be escorted off the mountain. And we thought that if we went back to the mainland, we could be able to come back another day, but that did not happen. Nonetheless, that's what happened here on Catalina Island. A lot of people don't realize that Catalina Island and also the other islands in the Channel Islands were not included in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. In the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, it stated that the boundaries of the United States only went up to San Pedro, which is those hills over there. Those are the boundaries, only up to San Pedro. And the boundaries did not include the United States, and that's in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. And that's one of the reasons why we came, because we wanted to claim this land for La Raza. And we still claim this land for La Raza. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody. Welcome all of the Brown Berets who are here, who've arrived today from the mainland. We're here on Isla Santa Catalina, known as Catalina Island. Catalina Island is well recognized because we came here 23 years ago. We occupied this land. This was our camp. We call this camp Campo Tecolote. And we came here for several reasons. One of the reasons was to bring attention to the problems of the Chicano community, but also to focus upon the fact that our people need land and a place to go. Also to focus on the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which is a treaty of peace between the United States and Mexico, Treaty of Peace in 1848. And in that Treaty of Peace, it states that these islands, the Channel Islands and also Isla Catalina, does not belong to the United States. According to the treaty, these islands and Catalina, this island, was not included in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Therefore, what we are saying is that this island belongs to the Chicanos, this island belongs to the Brown Berets. Also, in this area here, this is where we had all of our tents. All of our tents were stationed here up against this area right here. And my tent was over here, this location. And they were all pub tents and camping tents, which housed us and took care of us during the cold nights. It's important to know that the Chicano movement, this was actually the first opportunity for Chicanos to take land by occupation, by nonviolence, by peaceful means. And because we were here on Catalina Island for 27 days holding the land, it made international news. And you can read the story in about 100 history books. It talks about the Brown Berets taking Catalina Island in a movement, in an occupation movement. And that's what we did, we occupied the land.
This is our return to Catalina Island. This is our victory for our community. This is our statement for the community. We have come here to show that the Raza has a voice. We have come here to show that the Chicano community is still alive. We have come here to show that we can build a power base, an influential part of our community. It's required for our community.
Brown Berets, important part of Chicano history. Brown Berets are a very important part of Chicano present. Brown Berets are a very important part of Chicano future. Que viva la raza! Viva! Who are we?
Brown Berets!
Who are we?
Brown Berets!
Who are we?
Brown Berets!
¡Que viva la raza!
¡Que viva!
¡Que viva la raza!
¡Que viva!
¡Que viva la raza!
¡Que viva!
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Chicano power.
Chicano power!
Chicano.
Power!
Chicano.
Power!
Chicano.
Power!
Chicano.
Power!
Chicano.
Power!
Viva la raza.
Que viva!
Que viva!
Que viva Zapata!
The Brown Berets have mainstreamed themselves to focus on public relations and education to create a larger and more popular movement which can reduce the violence, enact reforms, and to create a community power base which will have influence to save our community. The Brown Berets reflect that spirit in the Chicano community, and we hope that you can be a part of that spirit.
If you don't hit that like and subscribe, I'm gonna poke you with a stick. Did you subscribe, Jamie? Look at how sharp this is. If you don't subscribe, I'm gonna poke you with a nopal needle. Sharp. If you don't subscribe, there goes your life. You wanna say anything, Jamie?
Nope, got nothing to say.
Alright, me too. Salty Bros.